what I'm really excited about right now is my family. I'm here in Minnesota with my wife's one of my wife's old mentors, and they welcome us to our homes. Kids the same age, outside playing. I don't really know anything about Minnesota. I just know it be cold anytime I even think of the world Minnesota, even if it's warm. And I'm a sun baby. But the beautiful thing is the family gets the opportunity to connect. And anytime I'm in the energy of family connecting and I'm doing a call, this shit is about to be lit. It's something about the amplification of a family. So I wanted to say that and just really quickly tune in and invite everyone to close their eyes really quick. And without opening your eyes, without mouthing a word, without making a sound, just want to invite you to say these words without any words coming out of your mouth, without making a sound. I deserve to be happy. I deserve to be happy. I want you to notice what's going on in your body. Now say, I am infinite happiness, and put the inflection on that word. I am infinite happiness. And notice what's going on in your body. Okay, eyes still closed. You didn't say anything. You didn't open your mouth. You didn't even make a sound. My question to you is, who said that and who heard that? Whoever said that without you opening your mouth, making a sound, making a noise, and whoever heard that with no sounds being made is the version of you that I will be talking to throughout the duration of this call. It will have nothing to do with linear. And one thing I've learned, you feel free to open your eyes. One thing that I've learned, this is a call, just so y'all know, for coaches, facilitators, energy workers, and for people that want to turn it and have that like transform your entire life. Because lots of coaches be like, how do I get this to turn into, like, I'm gonna just say it, money. People don't know how to take that thing and then make it the main thing, so that you don't have to do this side thing, so that the main thing that you love to do is fueling your entire life. And so just a brief story around my history of just coaching and facilitation. So you just know I'm not a random person who just took a trauma certification course over a weekend and be like, yo, I'm trauma certified. I'm like, in 2 days? So long before I started doing emotional intelligence and studying to be a samurai for 2 years, 15 years of martial arts, and 10 days silence, 5 days in the dark, and I mean over and over and over, and you all the landmarks, all the MITTs, all the insights. I mean, it was nonstop for 15 straight years. Before I did that, I had access to 75,000 people in an organization that I kept together for a decade. Do you know how hard it is to be the first person to say yes, and then get other people to follow you, and then develop leaders, not just a team of followers, but an organization of leaders that were much more powerful than you, to then develop the capacity to be able to hold for 75,000 people, which means I got a lot of people reps. There's a lot of people that have more certification reps than me, but they ain't got the people. I'm going to let y'all know right now, as coaches and facilitators, It don't matter what certification that you have if you do not have people reps. That's why somebody with no certification, but they've worked with way more people, there's something called infinite intelligence that just provides you with certain levels of skill that no certification will ever give you. I just happen to have both. A lot of certifications, but I got them after I had my people reps. And so somehow or another, it always fascinated me when I went out into the coaching industry, and it wasn't anything wrong. I just couldn't understand how certain people did not know how to create safety with men and women. It didn't make sense to me. Did not know how to, like, I would do certain retreats. I've done, like, literally facilitated 150 retreats before I had my own retreats. And so I would have, and I didn't know what this was at the time. And it was always these women that would come up to me and they were like, thank you. I'm like, what? I've never felt this safe in my entire life in the presence of another masculine man who doesn't want anything from me. And I was like, damn, I just keep hearing that. And I would have somebody that, let's say, like a medicine woman that would facilitated ayahuasca ceremonies for the last 20 years. They were like, I didn't know you can get that deep without plant medicine. And ultimately what she was saying is, I've never felt this safe on my own. And so as I really gathered, and the thing that I want to bring to you, coaches and facilitators and the energy workers, from the years that I've traveled and I went into certain programs, I saw so much that was out of integrity. And it was called in integrity in almost every aspect of 99% of the best programs that I went to. They were all out of integrity. The teachers were out of integrity. People teaching on relationships that don't have them. It was just nonstop. And I said, if I ever create something, I'm going to take everything that was out of integrity and I'm going to make sure that I do my absolute best to represent the highest degree of integrity. And anyone that I bring in, I'm going to teach them from that lens so that when they go out into the field, they get to experience the level of healing, the level of transformation, the level of results. And so my gift to all of you, and I don't know your stories, but I do know the field. I know what people talk about. I know what happens. People come to my programs, they're like, I've been here to here to here to, I mean, all the ones, all the popular ones, they're like, why is none of them feel this safe? And a lot has to do with leadership, and a lot has to do with the intention and who's leading and how they teach other people who's leading with them. And so my gift for this, I would say free call, but you still need to pay attention. So you still got to pay something. My gift is to share with you coaches and facilitators in a way that I can guarantee, this is not even a kinda, I guarantee by the end of this call, you will be one of the highest reputable people in your field just by the way you be and hold a specific congruency of space. And that's my gift. And it's not just about holding space. There's things that I do before, long before. There's things that I do after. There's things that I do during. And there's certain ways that I follow up. And it tends to be kind of the same result every time. So anytime I'm leading or facilitating something, it'll be like 100 people in the space. every single one of them pop. And when I mean every single one, I'm meaning every single one of them have a radical transformation, kind of like when you go to your refrigerator, you see the same food every time. This time you go to the refrigerator, you open it up and you see the Grand Canyon kind of transformation. This is what I'm talking about. And so my intention for this call is to be the space that holds for 100% transformation, insight, awareness, such that everybody on this call has their aha moment, maybe that they were praying for, you were looking for. Maybe you don't have any idea who I am. And maybe this introduction is like, well, damn, he's just like me. Well, now when you start seeing somebody that's speaking a language that your soul resonates with, and then they're doing something that you're not, when you apply that because you're vibrating off the same wavelength, the results happen just like that. And so hold on one second. I'm gonna let some more people in. All right, so now I'm gonna spotlight myself. I'm gonna spotlight myself. Hold on one second. Hi, friends. And here we are. Matter of fact, Emmanuel, let me put you on. Oh, you're on co-host. Manuel, when
Yeah, I
those
got you.
people are coming in, I need you to let them in right away, okay? Perfect, thank you. So, the topic for the day is who do I be? Who do I be? What do I see? And how can I serve? You just write it down. I love taking complex, esoteric things and making them real simple. Who do I be? What do I see? And how can I serve? All right, so I'm going to share a story and then I'm going to break the story down in pieces. So the last retreat I had, I've run a retreat called Artist Power Awaken with a team of about 12 guardians. My COO, Emmanuel, that's on here. We're business partners. And it's one of the most powerful retreats in the country, simply because of the safety and the space that it holds. Before, and this is not last minute, long before a retreat starts, I'm always wanting to get to the soul of the retreat. So I want you to think about anything. I want you to think about your client. I want you to think about any business. I want you to think about what you're facilitating. There's some people on here right now. They're like, I don't know. I just saw Garrain is doing something. I don't know if I want to be a coach or something, but like whatever you're creating in your life, I want you to think in terms of a newborn baby. That baby has a soul to it. Type a 5 in the chat because I work off comprehension. I don't want to just say a bunch of things. Type a 5 in the chat if you understand what I mean. The baby has a soul. The client has a soul. The workshop has a soul. Anything that you're creating. Now, I also have a soul. My number one, before anything happens, oh, what do you want to do for this retreat? How many people do you want? What do you want to sell this stuff for? And what's the program? Before anything that can happen, I have to tune into myself on the feeling of when I think of it. What feeling does it give me? Not what feeling I want to create. Because you understand, ideas don't come from your mind. They come from some other dimension. And if I have to coach you on this for some people who are new to spirituality, you're not a linear being, you're a multi-dimensional being. How do I know? Because you have dreams and intuitions. I could speak about the 12 dimensions, but for the sake of time, right now you have dreams and intuitions. The same way that you learn to develop ABCs, you can also learn to develop the intuition and dream state in the exact capacity, which allows you to harness your vessel in such a way so that the other aspect of the dimensional part of you has full access to your vessel. These are things that I teach for a living. So when I say things like that, just know I'm also referring to your dream state. What happens in your life when your eyes are closed? What happens when you just automatically think of a person named Frank that you haven't thought of in 20 years, and magically Frank just, hey man, I was thinking about you on the same day. Every single person has experienced something like that. Now, that version of you can be developed. This is what I do for a living. So when I'm talking about soul, I'm feeling so deeply about what that feeling is wanting to communicate to me. Not what I want to communicate to it. It's what I want it to communicate to me. And that's what I'm tuning into. Even when it comes to, oh, I'm about to work with this client. I'm about to facilitate a retreat. I'm about to facilitate a workshop. Even before I came on here, I'm like, what is this communicating to me? Because I want to develop a relationship with it. And these are the type of things long before I get on these calls. That's why every single one of my calls just hit. I don't just pop on here and be like, hey, 7 steps to success. You try this for a day or two. Take this pineapple rind, you lose 20 pounds. I'm like, this bullshit. People are played out with like surface level stuff. And like, Garrain, why you always got to be deep? Because you can't build a skyscraper on the surface. And if you're going to be working with people, why would you ever want to work with a surface level person when all of their scars are deep? I'm telling you. So I'm actually talking to the essence of the client, the essence of the workshop, the essence of the program, whatever it is that I'm wanting to create. What is it that you want to communicate with me? And then all of a sudden I feel something. And when I feel it, this is what I call, if it's working with a client, I call it the soul of the client, the soul of the client. If I'm working with a song, even I do the songs the same way. I call it the soul of the song, the retreat, the soul of the retreat. I've got to get something in my body, and I work from that soul the entire time. And so this is just a process, whether it's in meditation, whether it's I'm just being still, whether I'm just being in a quiet room. I'm like, okay, what is this? What is this retreat? What is this client like saying to me? What are they saying? You know, they've already expressed what they wanted or what they were trying to what they were working. Oh, I just want to build my business or something like that. And I was like, I'm feeling something deeper. I'm just feeling, but I'm not going to go in there and be like, hey, so here's what we're going to just work on this feeling right here, because I don't believe that what you said. I'm going to always start with my intention first. So the moment I'm clear on what this feeling is saying to me, now I got the soul of the essence of the client. I got the soul of what I'm facilitating, soul of the song, the soul of the room or whatever. I got that. My number one goal is to never leave with that soul. It's like a transmission of a car. Your transmission drops, good luck. So once I have the soul of what it is that I'm referring to, now I ask, Where am I taking them? That is a very powerful question to ask, because sometimes I've been in programs, they're like, okay, we're do this for success for 30 days and da, 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 and write this book and everything. I'm like, well, where are we going? Like, where actually are we going? Like, where am I taking them? That would be like somebody getting in a GPS system. Like, hey, where you want to go? Hey, wherever we want to go. And you're like, why are we not getting nowhere? Because you didn't say exactly where you wanted to go. So I got to say myself, where am I taking this person? Why? Because I'm coordinating the wisdom in my body. This requires no intelligence in the mind. This is what they lie to you about. Be like, yeah, that's a really smart person, is intelligent person. That ain't real intelligence. Type a 5 in this chat if you're a mom. You ever had kids? You know a kid. Type a 5 if you know a kid that came from a mom. You want to know what real intelligence is? My wife was having a baby. I was fortunate to have two babies in our bathroom. And the doula goes, push. And Blair goes, I don't have to. Something's already pushing. I said, that's intelligence. When you cut yourself and then it bleeds and then it scabs and your skin grows back. They didn't even go to school. That's intelligence. This ain't intelligence. So when tuning into the soul of something, you're tuning in to a cosmic part of yourself. I don't need to get so deep, but you already have dreams and intuition. But to grab the soul is to weave the intelligence, that wisdom that can produce a baby, that can, whatever's inside of you is the same thing that's inside of what makes a flower grow, that can grow your skin back. And you're like, yo, that's crazy. But it's not really crazy to the intelligence. So when you tap into the soul of something, you get to connect with infinite intelligence. This is why anybody's ever seen me do breakthrough coaching, they're like, how do you go through 1,000 people and then you cause 1,000 breakthroughs? And it don't matter, trans, cis community, none of that matters. It's almost the same result every time, because I'm not dealing with the human, I'm dealing with the soul. And when you have a soul on soul connection, all of the human stuff kind of fades away, and you get to something that's deeper than human thought. And so once you're functioning from the soul and you know where you're going, it's the exact same thing that happens when you put a specific address in a GPS system. Type a 5 in the chat if you've ever done that. So we're on the same page. So, but the interesting thing about a GPS system is it gives you 5 different ways to get there. So if now coaches, facilitators, energy workers, sometimes it may not be going the way you wanted it to go. And where a lot of coaches and facilitators freaking get their ego in the way, they try to force the thing, not realizing you're working with a cosmic part of the person. You can't see what's going on inside the body. You hear things like, yeah, the body keeps the score, but you don't know what's going on inside of the body and a 50 trillion cells and all these different things. It's the same way you don't know what's going on the underbelly of a watch, but you can tell the time. And so when there's a roadblock with the GPS system in a direction you were going, guess what? They give you another route. So when things don't go according in any kind of session, whether it's online or in person, when things don't go according to what you planned, there might be a cosmic plan. There might be a divine plan that's 1,000 times better than the one that you came up with. And so if you have spaciousness for what that is, and then you kind of just go with that, that's where the supernatural things start happening. Like, oh my goodness, my battery died, or the light shut off, or something. That means something is trying to work its way in and support you in that journey. That's why you stay connected to the soul. You gotta understand, like, we don't really know how trauma works. You can study things linearly and read the linear language, but you gotta understand the universe don't speak English. So we try to come up with the best way to describe what trauma is, but don't nobody really know what trauma is. It's just, here's this, here's the definition, and then all of a sudden you end up with, yeah, I mean, I read this in this book and this in this book, but somebody had to get it from somewhere. How do we know they were telling the truth? Do we really know what that? So when you are functioning from soul and you trust whatever you're trying to force, that means something is trying to get you to get your ego out of the way. And you might grow in that. You might see some things you never saw. You might heal whatever was trying to get you to force something. You, as the facilitator and coach, might be healing through releasing and letting go and allowing the divine. And when you do that, now you become so much more spacious inside of whoever you're working with, whatever you're doing, whatever you're creating. The same way I facilitate is the same way I create music, same way I do. It's the same exact formula. Same exact formula. Interesting, it produces the same results every single time. I just don't deviate from the formula. And my team knows, I said, when anything that is not on this beaten path comes in, I need you to trust the energy, because the intention is for whole life transformation. So if I'm gonna get in the way of something that's beyond me, that's coming through the intention, then that's when my ego starts to shut it down. You're like, oh, I caused that result. No, you did not. And so the more we can get ourselves out of that, and you're an orator of energy, and I want you to write that down. Because where a lot of coaches and facilitators get caught, I caused that. I'm a healer. I'm a shaman. I'm a this. I'm telling you, and the more titles you give yourself, the more you get caught into that. This is where a lot of coaches, an orator of energy. I'm just orating, I'm facilitating energy. This is why I don't give myself a title. And people are like, Garrain, you're like a shaman of this and like 1,000 different things at once. I'm like, I'm just Garrain. I was like, you can say that, but here's, oh, Garrain's just an inner child coach. Yep. Thank you so much. And then they come to our programs and they're like, and these are like well-trained people that have been doing this for 20. I've never experienced anything like that before in my life. Yeah, because I'm not binded by all those other things. And when you're not binded by all those other things, you got a clear passage for energy. You got a clear passage for distorted field. That energy is very similar to when you're on a freeway and you're 2 exits from the freeway and it's bumper to bumper to bumper to bumper to bumper traffic and it ain't moving. So when the vessel is clear and it's pure, it's just instant information, and I'm not making it me. I just know that I'm facilitating an energy and I'm doing my best to keep the safety in the room and all these other different things. They're like, oh, Garrain, you changed my life. No, I didn't. I showed you a new perspective. You changed your own life. You are your own shaman. You are your own healer. You are, and the more you can put it back on the other person, now you get out of the ego. Now you get to be clean when it comes to the energy. And these are one of the main things that keeps the room safe, the client feeling safe. And the safer they feel, the deeper they'll go. The safer they feel, the deeper they'll go. So functioning from the soul of the thing that you're creating. There's a movie director on here right now. It's all the same. Here's the soul of my movie. Here's the soul of my child. Here's the soul of the retreat. Here's the soul of the program I'm running. Boom. From there, where are we going? Where's this direction going? Okay, now it's going here. Now, when you have that, it starts coding your body in a specific way. Now, here's my number one rule. That energy, I will hire from that energy. When I feel it in my soul, there's a vibration coming up in my body. And everybody I bring aboard are people who can hold the essence of that energy. You always know that somebody can't hold the essence of that energy because when you start speaking about it and your thing is charging and they don't react, they're not meant for this particular project. And this is why I have specific people around me at retreats and things of that nature. So I will hire from that energy. I will fire from that energy. I will create from that energy. But I just need the soul of the thing first. And I allow it to tell me what to do because I'm functioning from human. I want where this idea came from to give me more ideas. And so even when I'm working with a client online, I just had a client the other day. Before I got on, I was dancing, I was singing, I lit my incense, and my wife came in the room. She was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I'm getting ready for a call." She was like, "You do all that before a call?" I said, "Yeah, of course I do all that for a call. I want my client to get the overflowing version of me, not somebody that's just trying to get done with a call and recite information based off of what I learned. No, you're going to get that. You're going to get the dedication. You're going to get the overflowing version of me that by the time we get on the call, transformation is already starting to happen because that's how energy works. Energy goes where energy flows. So if before a call, if before a meeting, if before anything that I'm creating or working or trying to use my life force to do, I set myself up for success so that people around me are benefiting from my overflow. For you, maybe you have a favorite song. Maybe you have certain sense of smells that you want to have. Maybe for me, I got a gong in my office and I'll play the gong and I'll like, if my son is home and I'll bring him in there because he always goes to the guitar and I'm like, how you want and you can do your fingers like this. And it took me a whole year, but like, it makes me feel good in my spirit. So things that raise my vibration, and don't go in there just like negative and whatever that is, I clear this my own space and not have to overcompensate before just because it's on a call. So same thing I do in person is the same thing I do on a call, the same thing I do at the retreats, same thing when I'm creating a song, same thing when I'm bringing ideas to life, same exact thing. And so I would love for you to type in the chat a couple of things that you do, like when you're getting prepared for, I would just love to get some ideas or that you would like to start doing. If you would type that in the chat. 2-minute superhero post with motivating music. Meditate, surrender to source. Box breathing and singing. Ground under my pyramid. Breathe deeply, songs that fuel me. Listen to frequency. Grounding, sunlight dance. Dancing like no one is watching. Absolutely. So that's what I do. And I'll just be dancing. And here's the thing. I will dress up for it. Even if it's online, the same way as it would be on person. This is one of my favorite shirts. I was like, I want to wear the dadhood shirt. Because it's like, shout out to the dads that are like putting it down, devoted fathers, devoted husbands. And something about that just makes me feel there's a family type deal. And I wanted to speak to family from the thing that makes me feel good. So it's like, what are you wearing? What do you dress like? What do you dress like? What are you listening to? Have you already had your food? Did you have your favorite food? I know if you give me a mango, which I had right before I got on this call, the call is gonna be powerful. Why? Because I love mangoes. So whatever it is that raises your vibration, because the moment they come on, the moment they come in your presence, the moment you walk into a room when you're facilitating a retreat, the moment that energy body that protrudes 200 feet outside of you in all different dimensions will hit them before you even open your mouth. And this is the reason why you can walk in a room full of people who don't like you, nobody's talking, and you can feel it. You can walk in a room full of people who love you, nobody's talking, and you can feel it. I used to feel my grandmother 2 hours away from her house because I knew as soon as I walked in, she was going to have a whole sweet potato pie just for me. And she was going to have another sweet potato pie for everyone else. And they were like, none of y'all can have it. This pie is for Garrain. I already knew it. As soon as I walked in, the plastic couch that nobody could sit on, that loud ass screen door that, bah, and I knew it, and I could feel that energy. I'm like, hey, baby, hey, Garrain. I just knew it. So when you give that to yourself, what you are saying is, I love myself to my self's overflow, and you're about to get the best of me. Not the less of me, not the transactional version of me, not the one that's just trying to get it done, not the one that's checking off. Okay, I got to call it this time. I got to call it this time. I got it. No, no, no. That's not intentional living, because I tell you now, when the thing that doesn't happen the way that you want it to happen doesn't happen, most of the time it ain't them. Most of the time it's us. They came to you for something. Even if they're not asking. I cannot tell you how many people, it was like, wow, the level of presence you were. You were able to catch things that I didn't even know that I needed. How? It's because I care. And I took care of myself. So I'm not thinking about my call after this, the call before this. I'm not thinking about what I need to do right after this, because I set myself up for success long before. Even for this call, I was in here an hour before, making sure the lighting is ready. And I know I didn't have my regular setup at home. I was like, let me test the lighting right here. Let me test this thing right here. Let me test that. Let me test this. The only thing I didn't test, because I just thought it was going to work, was my Instagram, because I was going to have the Instagram and have the people from Instagram come over here. And guess what was the only thing that didn't work? The thing I didn't test. And I'm like, yep, it makes sense. And this is how it makes sense. So somehow, in some cosmic way, when you actually care and you show up prepared, like reading what the client or the coach, what the client said. And for me, I coach coaches for a living. I lead leaders for a living. And so I'm like reading what they say they want, what their intentions are. And I'm like really trying to get into their world. And I go on to their Facebook, see what they've been posting about recently, go on their Instagram, see what they've been posting about, seeing how people are responding. And so I'm getting into their world. Why? Because I want to get into the soul of the person. So I do this extra stuff. Garrain, why would you do all that extra? When you see how many transformations that I'm a part of, it's it's astonishing. It's like, you're like, how is it happen with everyone? But you don't know what I do when it comes to everyone. Like y'all, I'm gonna see all these names. I'm gonna get everybody's emails, and I'm gonna have my team. We're gonna look up on Facebook, see what people are about, and things. Because I care. I care about humans, and to know humans, kind of got to study them. And so that is the extra when somebody says you got to get your 10,000 hours. It doesn't mean just with that person. If you really start studying people and personalities, and you can study what they talk about on Facebook, and all of a sudden they're just all politics, 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 and they're like, oh, love and light. There's an incongruency right there. So I already know what they're going to come to the call with. I'm telling you, I'm giving y'all some crazy nuggets. I will, for some people, they were like, man, there's so many coaches that I've worked with. What would make, and I know I got a discovery call coming. So, I'm a high ticket one-on-one. I charge $12,000 for a 90-minute session. I don't do anything less than 6 sessions. And I know they're like, what? Why? Like, what would be worth me like working with you and all this? Because all these coaches do the same. And when I know somebody's coming to a discovery call, you know what I do? I go back about 2 years on their Facebook, and I study any kind of patterns. Oh, nobody does this, but you know who's going to start doing this? You. Why? Because you're going to have information. You can't grow what you don't measure. So you get data on a person. So if time hop comes up and they keep complaining about the same thing, December 12th, every single year, what that tells me is you're stuck in a cyclical pattern. So my role is to support you in breaking a pattern. So that by the time December 12th comes, guess what? You're not talking and complaining about the same thing. So when I know somebody's coming to a discovery call, you know what I do? Start discovering the person who's coming to the call beyond the thing that they're writing. And so this is something that I want to share. These are things that I do even for my retreats, long before people come. We don't just pray for every student that comes to the retreat. I'm like, yo, they got an Instagram? And you know who looks on their Instagram? Me. Let me see what you're talking. Let me see what they up to. You know, and I go on the Facebook. So for the discovery call, I go and discover who's coming to the call. Go back. And then when you're doing that, the patterns are going to show up. Whether complaining about the news, the weather. My president, Monica Lewinsky, I really want her to be president. And then all of a sudden, you know what I'm saying? It's like you will learn so much about a person by their past that they posted. So when they come to the call and they be like, well, what would make you any different? And you got all this data that you can talk about. What makes me different is I actually care about the full spectrum of your life, that I devoted probably a couple hours learning about who you are. And what I noticed is, and what I noticed is, and what I noticed is, and I can support you with this, 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 and this. This is what makes me different. Damn, take my money. When I tell you, it creates a flawless reputation. Because that going the extra mile will always pay off. It will always pay off. Because now what happens is when you start working with people, the way that you speak and where you're speaking from, they're like, well, no, you on some other stuff. You're not just reciting things. I can tell the energy where you're coming from. I need you in my life. And this is all the work that you do before. You don't have to pay me for that, because if I'm studying about people, well, guess who's building reps? Whether they become my client or I'm facilitating something or not, me. So as long as you're getting reps, that's the reward. You're learning, growing, learning about pattern behavior and things of that nature. And so that's the next thing I want to bring y'all in is learning about the person before they come in, the client, before they come in person or they come in line. And when it comes to, like, if you're facilitating a retreat, learning about the space. One time we did a space in Aspen and I didn't do what I typically do. And for the people who are like spooked out by like things not from this planet, or then again, ain't no accidental basic people coming to my calls. I already know it because I know the signal I put out. I know the wizards that come. And so we were in Aspen, and then the guardians is what we call the staff. I call them guardians. The guardians, the women, they were in a specific house, and they kept getting visited by this knocking and these different sounds and these different things. And they're like, Garrain, can you come in? I was like, oh, it'll be fine. I was like, we're out in the woods and everything. And I didn't do what I typically do. Let me learn about where we're going. It just looked good online. So we go, and then after 3 nights on a 5-day stay, after 3 nights, they're like, no, Garrain, there's something knocking things over in the middle of the night, and we're seeing like little shadows, and we don't know what, just come in there. And I learned about the land, and it was indigenous land, and I never learned about it, so I never asked for permission. And this is things that I typically do. So I didn't go and like learn about the land, not the land here, but the land long before somebody took it over. And I was like, oh. So then we went to the tree, we went to the pines, we asked for permission, we dropped the tobacco on the land. And then I went in there and I took my drum, because I'm known to be like a modern day version of the Ghostbusters. I don't carry fear in my body. So I went in there, took my drum, did my, people call it light language, I call it the language of energy, and just did the thing that my body caused me to do, did my drum, no more sounds. And so the same thing that applies there applies to anything that you're creating. When you ask for permission to bring something to life, asking for permission to go a little bit deeper, asking for permission. And so that's the next thing I want you to put, asking for permission. There's something really special about permission to go deeper, permission to touch your shoulders. You got to understand about people. There are some people that, that's my friend, I don't know, they'll love that. But you have no idea the programming inside of people who are afraid to say something that is so deeply rooted in their childhood. You understand that the number one fear in the world is public speaking. Where did that come from? So even more than death, the number one fear is public speaking. That blocked throat chakra don't start in the throat. It starts in the sacral. So people are afraid to speak. So asking for permission literally lines all of the energy centers, and they say yes. When they say yes, that creates the permission for the safety to go in their body. And when the safety's in their body, they can go a little bit deeper. And so I'm always asking for permission. And as I'm facilitating, my number one thing is, like I said before, is I'm an order of energy. All I'm doing is maintaining an energy. Now there's different levels of energy. I work in frequency and vibration, and I work in less trauma, because that was me 10 years ago. And when I realized that there was vibration underneath the trauma, I was like, well, why don't I just focus on the vibration? That's why music works, because it works in the resonance of your body. You can hear a song and instantly all of a sudden you're like, damn, you start time traveling from when you were in second grade, thinking about somebody you completely forgot about 20 years ago. And so, if you can be in the right resonance and hit a certain pitch, you can crack a glass. So what that tells me, as a vessel, if you can find the resonance that's underneath the trauma, you can just lift it. So I'm known for being able to, and this is also something that I teach, I'm known for being able to curate the vibration, but it's a field on the call, field in person, whether it's one-on-one, and the field inside of a room, 100 people, 10,000 people, the number doesn't matter. What matters is the intention. And when the intention is there, the intention is always going to see itself through. And if there's a roadblock, I'm like, ooh, something even more powerful is wanting to come through. So we just let it come through. And so now we're at a place where we're looking for the small little miracle. And this is one thing that's often missed from the client. Because typically the client or whoever you're facilitating, they're looking for this giant thing. It's like, I'm looking for my big breakthrough. Big breakthroughs, the real ones, are this big. And they're often missed. That's the little acorns that, if you didn't know that the acorn can turn into an oak tree, it's the subtleties. And to put that in perspective, imagine being in an ocean and everybody's like, look at that big whale. Wow, look at that. Wow, the giant 2,000-foot stingray. You know what I'm looking for? That little seahorse that did like this. Right there. So if you find the seahorse, just know that is 1,000,000 times bigger than the big thing. Oh, the big thing. Oh, wow. I promise you, almost every single time, because it's so out of awareness that you don't know what it's connected to. It's kind of like when I tried to get rid of my email. I tried to get rid of because when I was homeless living in my car, I used to have an email it was called Rich Broke. And so it was like I was rich in pocket. I mean, rich in thought, broken pocket, but I was rich in thought, broken pocket. I was homeless for 2.5 years. And I'm like, I can't seem to figure it out. I'm like, the email, the power of the name. So I try to get rid, mind you, I had a YouTube, 125,000 subscribers before I even knew what that was, because it was authentic marketing. I went to go delete, it's just a name, and it just wouldn't go. And it said, you will end up deleting everything that's connected to this name. You pull up that Rich Broke name, all of my YouTube videos, it was so many things connected to it. I was like, oh my goodness. So this is what I mean. The little miracle, holding for that little thing. When you are in deep presence, you're not thinking about anything else. You're watching how their eyes move. You're watching and seeing if their hands sweating. If you ask them a question and all of a sudden they start fidgeting like that, here's what I want you to do. Hey, what's that? Call it out. Don't be afraid not call, because the body's going to always respond. If all of a sudden you ask them a question, they answer and their face get bright pink. Hey, did you know your face got bright pink? What's that about? Oh, it's nothing. No. I asked you a question, and that was about, it's always connected to something. And you know what it's often connected to? That intention. So you are holding for the miracle, but the miracle is going to come behind some little random thing that's out of the ordinary of y'all connecting with each other. So in that process, every accident is a part of the process. Every all of a sudden your screen goes black and it's like, oh, signal failed. I'm like, oh, something is trying to get the attention. I promise you. This is what I'm talking about. There's a miracle trying to come in, and you got to understand, miracles don't come in like in this 3D plane. It's like dreams don't come from a 3D plane. I dreamt about ancient Greek Roman time last night. Yeah, that ain't you being like, oh my God, it's snowing outside. It ain't that version of you. It's the version of you that was like, didn't talk, didn't say anything. And then all of a sudden, somebody said something, somebody heard something, and it was inside of you. So that version of you is also in that version of them. So the moment y'all are talking and connecting, and then all of a sudden the screen does something, or their hands start fidgeting, or they start looking like this. What's going on? Oh, nothing. No, I asked you a question and you kept doing like this. You kept going like this with your eye. So the body is trying to get something out, but the logic mind is trying to not talk about it. So the moment you go straight in, hey, I just want you to know your hands are sweating. They weren't sweating a minute ago. You can see that? Yeah. Well, we were talking about ... Oh, no. It's nothing. No, it's safe. What's going on there? See what I just did with my voice? No, it's safe. What's going on there? Look for the shoulders. When these shoulders go. Hey, get them to look you in the eye. You don't have to do this alone. I'm right here. Right here, not going anywhere. See what I did with my voice? I'm not going anywhere. Right here. And you start seeing them eyes well up. It's just so hard. And then you don't talk right there. Let that come out. That's probably been in there for freaking 30 years. They just probably never felt safe enough or had somebody that can catch that moment. You just let it come out. Just go ahead and let it out. And if you can feel their energy, just feeling lighter, ask, what are you noticing in your body right now? I feel like I just lost 20 pounds right there. That's the magic. That's the miracle right there. I promise you, right there, because it's a shift in energy. Any shift in energy is an immediate shift in their outer world reality. So just dive into it. Just tell me more about that 20 pounds. What do you mean? And just go into that world. Inside of that world, the thing they said they're looking for is going to bud through there. It's going to happen almost every single time. But you got to know what to look for. And only a radically present person that is prepared and not thinking about anything else is not going to miss a moment. Not a moment. And then once you can get them to see that this was connected to their intention, now guess what happens? Oh, how'd you do that? I didn't. I just showed you where to look. You did that. And then you start validating the work that they did. Look at you. Look how powerful you are. Look, that encouragement, the same way you would a little kid. Look how powerful you are. Boom. Now what you're doing is you're supporting the elevation of their vibration to come up where you are, because you encouraged you see what I'm doing? I'm giving you a whole flow, but we got to get what's in there out. And then you look what you did. Look, amazing. Let's turn on your favorite song right now. You know what I'm doing? You know what I just did? The exact same thing I did before I got on the call, bringing them into the resonance of that energy. Now, watch what happens when that smile that feels like they lost 10 years off their life comes. And sometimes I'll be like, hey, look at your phone. Do you have any new text messages now? Or look at your email. Because when you are a signal in the world and you send out a magnetism, the best way I can describe it is like the Batman symbol, and people don't run to the symbol, they run to the source. So when you source your own vibration, all of a sudden it sends a signal out. When that signal it goes out into the field cosmically, and then all of a sudden you're like, wow, I got a message from somebody I haven't seen. That's the miracle that you're holding for. And then all of a sudden that person somehow is connected to their intention. This is why our shit pops off at our programs, because we work with the cosmos and we work with the logic mind, and we blend them together and we speak freaking practically. And that's what people have a very difficult time to do. They got all this esoteric talk, but they don't know how to bring it down to the people where most of the people are. And then you got the people that have the basic talk that ain't really done the work. So what we do is we teach the work, the esoterics, and the practicality, because the practicality is how you get it into the body. And when you get it into the body, that's where the magic is. So that's where the magic is. And so that's a brief little thing I wanted to share. And, so that formula, the only time I deviate from exactly that is when something that, when the magic starts to make its way through, I'm like a bull matador. I'm like, and then I'm watching it, and then I'll go and ride that wave. I'll go and ride that wave because it's 1,000 times. The cosmic version of you, it doesn't operate off of time and space and past, present, future. It has access to all dimensions. So if that's trying to come in, I like me, my human mind that's like doing the best I can to work with the cosmos. I would rather that version take over and me ride that and me adjust in real time. And then it's 1,000 times more powerful. I would love to get a few, hold on one second. Let me remove the spotlight. I would love to get a few just shares on what you received from this call. And then I'm going to share something really epic in 5 minutes. JJ, you just pulled your mic up, so I'm gonna just put you up there.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you so much. There's so much in that it's like I've been a coach for about a year now, and I coach artists, musicians in Austin, Texas, and help them connect to that inner world, and back into the joy of creating music, creating art, being that artist, right? And really tapping into that without the attachment to all this industry that takes them out of presence, which is flow state and that divine presence, in the creation. So everything you're saying, bring it into the body. I just want to, because you're validating everything I'm doing, and I know you're so far ahead, way over there. So it's like, everything you've done, it's admirable for me to watch that and see that, wow, I'm doing the things that are like, it makes sense for what I'm doing for sure. And I'm grateful for the share, man.
Good
Amazing.
stuff, brother. We got to connect. I'm in Austin as well, and this is what I do. Like my company, Artist Power, is it's for all artists, but I happen to be a musician, and so I teach on what I needed to bring myself back into full swing of artistry, which has transformed my entire life.
Mhm. Yeah. I would have to say I ditto that. This what I've gone through, same thing. It's like, wow, like I had to go through my own healing, my own transformation, and then boom, now my music, my art, my craft is it's so much more just abundantly beautiful and prosperous, you know. And so it's crazy how yeah, I just appreciate you. I actually went to one of your uh I think I
Voices of expression.
yeah, yeah, on
Okay.
Lamar somewhere or something
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
Uh-huh.
That was amazing. That was amazing, man. So I'm really grateful for you, brother. Yeah, thank you.
Good stuff. And hopefully we get you around a community of people that can amplify what you're already doing and then just 10x that in ways, because when you do it with people who are also doing what you're doing, and then that environment is continuously growing, you look back a year from now, you're like, yo, that was a crazy bump. It
I could,
happens in community.
yeah, for sure. Thank you,
Good
brother.
stuff. Yep. Uh, Golden Crone.
How did I'm so excited that I got to be on this call, Garrain. I have loved just hearing you speak about things, many of which I've heard you speak of before, but there's just a particular thing just hit really deep tonight. And one of the huge takeaways for me, I appreciate so much because I know that I knew it, but it hadn't become conscious that every experience has its own soul. It has its own energy pattern. And so for me to translate energy pattern to soul and it's in existence and to remember to ask permission.
Yeah.
Conditions. Thank you for that.
You're so welcome. And it just like at the last retreat, it was 100x any retreat I'd ever done because it had a different soul to it. One of the retreats, we had people coming in. We didn't say anything for 20 minutes to see who was going to paint first. This last one, I was like, I'm just gonna be making a beat and a song in real time. I didn't say nothing, and then all of a sudden, people are picking up drums and paints and dancing, and everybody. I was like, oh, and then I taught the lesson, and it was a whole multi-dimensional thing, and I was like, oh, you can't teach creation. You gotta create and show people how you create. So the soul of that retreat had me doing things I had never done before in my life. And it brought, I mean, the amplified creativity of everybody else in the room, but it was all part of what you just said. So, but I could have stuck to this is the way we always do it. I'm like, well, if that's the case, well, then the iPhone 16 would be the iPhone 1 right now. But they keep updating for a reason. Good stuff. Haley and then Shakira.
Hi, Garen.
I
So a few takeaways. It's really nice to see you after all these years. And I feel like we've just you're the exact same person I remember. I don't know if you remember me.
wait.
Haley from Herbalife.
Yo! Oh my God! What, 2014?
Something. I don't know. I've lost track of time. I don't
Wow!
Yeah, well, you kept popping up on my feed, and I was like, one of these days I got to make it. And then I just felt this was the day. So I appreciate you working and talking about energy. I appreciate you always bringing your overflow, and that's one thing that I took away is like letting people experience my overflow, not like coming to them like where I'm at, like getting myself hyped and up first, and then being a facilitator of the energy, and then trusting the intelligence. Those were like my main takeaways for today.
What up, Haley?
What up?
Wow. Yeah, no, it was at a game night 2014.
Uh,
I totally remember. Yeah, how you doing?
I'm
Will
happy to be here.
you DM Emmanuel your number? I'd love to connect and catch up because I mean that's 11 years.
I know. I also just followed your Instagram. Okay, I see. Yeah. I'll
Yeah.
send him my number now.
Okay, cool.
Okay. Oh, Wadia Defesh says hi.
Say it again.
Wadia Defesh?
I remember the name Wadia, the water guy.
Yeah.
Tell him I said hello.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Wow. Okay. Let's see. Is it Chikara?
It is Shakara. Nobody
Chikara.
gets that, so that was kind of cool.
Hey.
Yes, I just wanted to say thank you for the energy and the share. The thing that stood out for me is everything that you were saying. I feel like everybody's kind of like, yes, I've done that. But what really stood out is the intentionality behind it and really understanding and appreciating the weight of these things that we're doing unconsciously. So I'll get these reviews from clients and they'll say, I felt this, I did this. And I'm like, wow, I wonder what it was. I wonder what it was. And as I was listening to you, I'm like, oh, that is the time that I was totally pumped. That is the time that I was totally connected and read their body language and I allowed them to do these things. So I don't know that it was like this big breakthrough, but it's exactly what you said. These small little things that help you just appreciate what you're doing and be more intentional about making that, just be part of your process and feeling like an artist and an orator, and you
Right.
have that power. So thank you.
And the thing about it is, if you don't know what it is, then you'll just keep doing what you don't know. And it's difficult to grow what you don't. That's why they say, whatever you can measure, you can grow. So it may not feel like a big breakthrough, but the moment you're clear on what it is, this is why people thought I had an ego when I was asking this question. And when they're like, oh my God, Garrain, you're so amazing. I'll be like, what about me specifically is amazing? I'll literally ask the question because I don't know their viewpoint. They're like, oh, it's the way that you hold deep presence. And when you speak to somebody, it's like you make them feel like they're the only person in the world. And I'm like, oh, that's the thing. I didn't even know that was doing that. Because when a bee is busy being, it don't know that it's producing frequency. It's just too busy doing what it's doing. So you can borrow from people's perspectives, and if you start getting the same thing over and over and over, you're like, oh, I can build on top of that. I didn't even know that I was doing that. So that is huge because that then can become this is why I started working with a lot of women, because without me knowing it, all these women were showing up, but I didn't know why. And I was like, I'm attractive. It's like, what is this? I knew my past. I didn't know. And then all of a sudden at the end of my retreat, this woman goes, thank you. I'm like, for what? I now know what I want my future husband to be like. Thank you, because you healed a part of something that had to do with my father, because I've never seen another man operate like you. My past is crazy, so I know how I got here. So I'm like, I get it. And then it's like, thank you. I'm like, for what? I've never felt this safe in the presence of another masculine man who doesn't want anything from. I'm like, oh, that's a thing? And then all of a sudden I'm at my retreat and I was like, oh, it's 75 people here, 70 women. And some lady goes, Garrain, I've been to all of these big retreats. Why does this one feel different? But I already had the data from all these other women. I said, because a lot of men who run retreats that are women heavy, there's a lot of leaky sexual energy, and that's the majority of them. But I'll
Yep, it's
stand,
palpable. It's palpable.
this is what
Yep.
I'm saying. And you could hear almost every woman in the room go, like they heard that for the first time. So it was a huge breakthrough. It didn't seem like a big breakthrough, but it was huge. Why? Because it wasn't the big thing. It was something that I thought was small that was actually really big once I had the awareness of it. So you're right on target. Good stuff. Jay, and then Faith, and then I'm going to share something really special with y'all.
Hey G, thanks for hosting this call. I actually was going to watch on Instagram, and when it didn't work, I said, "What happened?" Found it in my email.
Boy, didn't propel.
But I want to reiterate kind of what everybody else has already said as far as the what you were saying with what you're creating having a soul. I never thought about it like that. I've felt it internally, but didn't realize that's what it was. And with what I'm wanting to create in the future, I now know that's a very important part of it. But also something that you mentioned with not being afraid to call out the things you see, other people with the example on the face and everything. I kind of took that, but I also flipped it and for myself and not being able or because I don't like to be called out. I'm not gonna lie. I jumped to defense and I know that's something in me that I need to work on. But the fact that you mentioned it and brought the my own self-awareness, I just want to say thank you for that.
You're so very welcome. One thing I'm going to share is you may not like to be called out, but has anyone ever invited you into a conversation and said, "Hey, Jay, I'm noticing something that I think can be very important for what it is that you want. May I share with you what I see?"
Not in the way you just did.
This is what I'm saying.
Yeah, because it's always been, hey, I have an idea. Let's do da 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 da. And I'm like, okay, well, wait, I don't even know if that's what I want to do.
Right. So it may not be you have an issue being called out. It may be just it's how people bring you in to the collaboration of the conversation. Somebody might be trying to force based off of what they want instead of including you in the conversation. And possibly you might just want to feel included. So at least you have the opportunity to say yes or no rather than being forced into something you don't even want to be in.
It makes sense.
Yeah, good stuff. Last one, Faith, and then I'm revealing something special.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, hi, I'm Faith. What really resonated with me was kind of what you were just talking about with Jay, actually, with the being in tune with your body. Like, what do you feel in your body right now? Long story short, I've had 2 ACL surgeries, one on each knee. I'm a professional wrestler, and I somehow
Wait a
want.
second. That's
Oh,
actually kind of cool. I've never heard somebody just say that on a call.
well, so what I feel my purpose is, though, like, even being in this line of work, is life coaching. And I feel like I've recently come across this discovery, especially after going through the couple past years of healing. And I'm back now. I'm back now. Well, Nikita's back. Nikita's the wrestler. I'm Faith, if that makes sense. But I feel the what is your body feeling right now is so important, because I feel like in the past couple of years, again, long story short, there was times where I was ignoring what my body was trying to tell me, and that's why my knees tore. You know, so there's so much more to that, but I just want to say thank you for bringing that up, because in that and throughout all the healing that I went through with that, it forced me to go through my shadow work and really, like, dig into my inner child and like really dig into that, and having other people, you know, coming to me online or at work or wherever it is, um like coming to me for advice. And like I feel like unconsciously I kind of pick up downloads on how to guide them through it, but sometimes I don't have a follow-up. And so I appreciate that, of like, okay, what is your body feeling right now, and the tone of the voice, and really because sometimes I can be like, like I'm excited
Yeah.
because like I love
And did
helping.
you notice what I did whenever I was just and hey, and what's going on
Yes,
right there?
yes,
How
and
I
I was like, ooh.
changed my tone.
Yes, yes, and I love and appreciate that. And also I want to give a shout out to my mom, because she is actually the one who brought me to you. So yeah. Yeah, I appreciate your time and your energy. Oh, and I one last thing, I also loved, I wrote it down. Orator of energy, is that what you said?
Order of energy.
Orator. I said it wrong.
Yeah.
Orator, because I feel like there's so many like labels, like you were saying, that people try to throw out there, but I love that. I'm just Faith, or I'm just Nikita, like
Yeah,
whatever.
and the
So
reason why I do that, and there's nothing wrong with saying it, but just and I've traveled to like 100 countries, and I've heard I'm this, I'm this. The more titles you have on your name, the less free you are. It's like I'm a
mm,
vegan, I'm a this, I'm a that, I'm a that, I'm a that, I'm this like, but then it goes further and further and further away because
okay,
your name is somebody like gave you your name. So it's
for
like
sure.
that energy inside. Oh, I'm energy in motion. And then
Mm,
you can feel that in your body. So that's
yes,
why we say, what is my energy saying? Now you're not dealing with all the limitations and the titles and the
right,
constructs and black, white, man, woman, da, 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 da.
right.
Like, hold on.
Yeah, I love that. Oh my
I'm in
God.
about 75 boxes.
Yeah,
Wonder
yeah.
why I can't connect to myself. Yeah, because you got all these filters to go through.
So I have, if you don't mind, just one last follow-up
Yeah, go
question
ahead.
regards to that. So like with my wrestling persona, I'm Nikita Lyons, I'm the lioness, I'm Big Cat Kita, I'm Nikita Multimedia, like so similar into like these energetic, you know, speaking from the soul type of labels. Do you feel like that may be resonating like in that workspace, like as far as in WWE, and like trying to I don't know, do you feel like I
What I
need
would say.
one
Here's what I
person?
would say. When I was only eating fish
Yes,
and I decided I wanted a piece of my mama's fried chicken when I went back home,
I resonate with this so much.
and I was only eating fish, but I
Yes,
never gave myself a title of the pescatarian.
pescatarian, yes, because
Pescatarian.
I did that too. I tried that
Right.
too.
And then somebody was like, hey, I thought you were just, I was like, no, I'm Garrain, who just happens to eat a lot of fish.
Right.
See what I
Okay.
just did? Who
Yeah.
just happens to. And
Mm-hmm.
that's very different than leaving yourself inside of a title. It blinds you from everything else outside of you.
Yes. Oh, thank you.
You know what
I
I'm
love
saying?
it.
So if you get locked into an image, and
Yeah.
this don't just start with like gender, it's every construct you can put on yourself.
Yeah.
Most of those are prisons that
Mm-hmm.
blind you from seeing anything outside. But one that works for you, I remember I was like, oh, I'm a deadbeat dad. I was homeless living in my car, deadbeat dad, deadbeat dad. And then one day I say, you know what? I need to see myself different. I said,
Yeah.
"You know what? I'm the most powerful representation of who my daughter will marry one day." And I
Mm,
just kept, I at least made the image work for where I wanted my future to go, not
uh,
something that kept me bound up in something that was like a low vibration of something, and I'm stuck and I'm anxious and I'm depressed. I'm like, if you're going to associate yourself with something, associate with yourself with something that's going to take you somewhere,
yes.
because however you identify, that's how you'll show up for.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay. I love
so
that.
for me, the best title I could have ever given myself, because I'm a whole bunch of things. It's difficult to, how you gonna box
Oh,
in God? It's like difficult. Like I know who I am, That's God in flesh form when I look in the mirror and I see the truth through my eyes.
Yes, sir.
And I was just like, I'm a fucking wizard of art. I love art and I do a whole bunch of cool ass shit. And that
Yes.
was the best thing I could ever name myself. And all the people like, oh, there goes the wizard. I'm like,
Yes.
and
I
all
love
this magical stuff started happening because that's what wizards do. So I
I love
finally found something that anytime you use language, it takes you away from the sweetest part of the fruit anyways, because that's
Mhm.
not real language. So
Right.
I try to find language that is the closest to how I feel. And if it's a dissonance in my body, why would I associate myself with something that's creating a dissonance in my body? That doesn't make sense to me.
Because I make music too, and I'm like, ah, this is so much. So thank you. I appreciate you, and yeah, just thank you for blessing us.
So welcome. All right, y'all. Check it out. I'm like excited because there's cool ass people. Freaking Haley from 11 years ago just shows up. I'm like, that's why you just never know who just comes on here. Next thing you know, I'm talking to a fucking wrestler and shit. I'm like, all of it is just cool. You never know. But here's one thing I do know. When you send out the line of pigment of cool ass people show up. And and this is what I do all day long. I want to be aligned with epic people. For some reason, God brought me through probably 20 difficult lives. You name somebody with a difficult life, I've had 20 of those lives in my 46 years on this planet and somehow made my way through. And somehow people want to learn from this shit that I just kind of just went through. They're like, how the fuck do you turn 3 companies into 7 figures? How do you start a retreat company and do $2.5 million in 6.5 months? I was like, I fucking love this shit. I love people. I know how to do business and I know how to just make cool shit happen with cool ass people. I like doing it. So when you like really, really, really like doing something and it's not fake play like, because there's people like, oh, I love it. Why isn't it working for me? You don't love it. Because if you really love it, what does working it for me mean? It don't matter if you're good or not, if you can sing or not, if, none of that matters when you love something. And so now we're here. And I never would have thought in a million years that me coming into coaching, leading leaders, facilitating, that people would want to learn how I do cool ass shit all over the world and create these crazy transformations. They were like, how are you working with this guy that's worth $1.2 billion? When you know who you are, that worth is more than any paper money. So people see when you are in your dharma. I didn't know a bunch of coaches and facilitators will want to learn from me because I never set out to do that. I just set out to do some cool ass shit, and then cool ass shit happened to my life. How do you take a man that had freaking, I wasn't good with women and cheated on women, and all of a sudden a change, his daughter comes back into his life, he gets married, becomes a devoted husband, has another daughter, gets his relationship back, retires his mom, builds these businesses, becomes a crazy investor. It's like, yo, you're the first black. I never did it to be the first black. I just wanted to do some cool ass shit. And this is, if more coaches and facilitators, you see that? I am not bound by them labels. The only label is cool ass shit with cool ass people. And these results tend to just keep happening. And in the midst of doing cool ass shit, I came up with a cool ass program because a whole bunch of cool ass coaches and facilitators be like, yo, I want to do some cool ass shit, but you don't just do one linear thing. How do you do the cool ass shit in like every area of your life? Well, because I know how to facilitate that kind of energy in marriage, in intimacy, in family, in parenting, in money, in business, in retreats. Because this is, I just want to do cool shit, and so cool shit happens. So then those cool ass coaches was like, please create a certification program for us. I was like, if I do a certification program, this shit is not gonna be over the weekend. So you can be like, I'm artist power certified. Like, I'm gonna make it hard. Why are you gonna make it so hard? Have you seen the coaching industry lately? Anybody is just a coach. I don't want that. What I want, ethics, integrity, somebody that is reputable anywhere that they go. They are primed, they are prepped, they know how to set up, they know how to break down, they know how to bring in leadership, surround themselves around the right people, and they want to do some cool ass shit and create some cool ass results and have their life be filled with cool ass shit. So if any of you would like to be a part of a cool ass shit coaching certification program, I just happen to have a cool ass certification program. And with some of the highest reputable coaches in the industry. My spiritual advisor that I've been working with for 13 years, you can imagine, it's who I learned from. She's a part of this cool ass program, and we built it together. And a lady named Emily Fitz, and we pulled it, this cool ass shit. And I know some of y'all was like, I ain't never really heard nothing like this. I know. This is what cool ass shit people talk about. They don't give a fuck about none of that other stuff. I want to be surrounded by cool ass shit, do cool ass shit, create cool ass shit results, and attract cool ass shit to my life. And so, if that's something that you want to do, I have a program for you. And if you don't want to be a part of the cool ass shit, get along gang, it's all good because my life is fine. I just have a program that I put my life force into. There, it's online, and then there's one. There's one where people that don't have, they're like, man, I don't have the website. I don't know how to do the flyers and everything. And I just so happen to have a cool ass shit program that does all of that for you, which is the second tier. And then the third tier is that third level is hands-on. At our next retreat, you get to come in and we get to do a bunch of cool ass, with your permission, hands-on type shit. And like really what I love to do is work with people in person. And so I'm going to play this video and I want you to watch it. And cool ass shit, get along it. This is what it is. This is what I really want to do this. And these are for people who want to be coaches, and like Faith, this is like perfect for you. And for people who are already doing that and you just want to up the ante a little bit, and you just, and I work a lot in things that happen in the non-physical realm. That's my genius, and I know how to make it make sense in the practical realm. Bye, Haley. Okay, so
Aaron, this isn't going to be a video. This is
never
more.
mind.
This is more
Not
to
being
show.
a cool ass shit friend.
This is just more, and everyone's going to get a link so y'all can watch the message from Garrain. Just didn't want to play it here, but this is more just to show visual representation of what they're stepping into inside of the certification program. And then, of course, whenever you want to talk on the special invitation for today, I can also showcase that.
Yeah, you can do that now.
Okay, cool. So, boom. If you want to speak on that, Garrain, why they're...
Yeah, so everybody on here, you get a 25% savings. And it's less about the certified artist power coach, but more the standard. I want you to think, when you see something from me, if it's certified, it's going to be the standard. I am not a fan of coaches who don't have high standards. Because when coaches don't have high standards, that's what they create out in the field. So I hold coaches to that standard. And so This right here is what you would learn: sacred foundation, secure container, harmonic resonance. That's the frequency and the vibration stuff. Soul mapping, deep listening, curiosity, miracle holding, frequency alignment. It's a whole thing. And I do live, live demos. You know how like when you watch that TV show Big Brother, and then they come on and they talk about what happened. All of that is in there. And then we got all of these modules on resonance, and it goes all the way down. And then there's a live Telegram chat. And then I do a call a month so we can work everything out, things that are happening with your clients and questions that you want to ask according to the modules. Myself, my mentor Monica, and Emily Fitz, who we all did this program. And so that's Monica right there. Okay.
Yeah.
And so everyone on here gets 20% savings. Move it along, Emmanuel.
You want to go back to this then?
Yeah, you can complete that. So we're good. So what I want you to do is put the offer in there and tell them whatever they need to do, and that'll be awesome.
Cool.
Right
Link
there.
is-
So the link is in there. So if you liked anything about this call tonight, let's just say when you go to the grocery store and they're just like handing out free cheese, and you're like, yeah, that's a pretty good bite of cheese. And all of a sudden you're like, yo, where's the rest of that? Where can I get the rest of that? That's this. So if you liked anything about this and you want to be surrounded and have someone like me to be in your corner and a container that will get this version of you up the ante and become one of the highest reputable coaches in your industry and learn that language. And if you don't have a business yet, have the launching platform for that. This is that. And I have Emily on here right now. Emily, could you say something?
And then after Emily, I'd love to just also show the launching part of the platform, because that's a part most coaches lack.
Okay, cool.
Hi, friends. So excited to be here with you tonight. This certification program has been a deep, deep labor of love putting this together, co-creating this alongside Garrain and Monica. The trainings are immersive and hands-on, and not only do we speak into the power of this work in each of these lessons, really giving you a high level overview, but also we break down the different ideologies and steps and pathways, and there is so much immersive support, and the community is incredible in the way that they show up for each other and support each other in peer sessions. So you're not only are you learning the material, you're getting to practice the material with other coaches and facilitators inside of the program and inside of the space. And then from there, you're also getting to be practiced on. So not only are you up leveling your skills as a coach and facilitator, even if you've been in the industry for 10, 20 years, if you're brand new, this is for you, right? Like we cover everything under the spectrum. And the really cool thing is you're being upgraded and up leveled throughout the entire container, because it's not just about you practicing on another coach or facilitator or peer, but it's also about you receiving the reps too and moving through your own pieces in real time as you are stepping into a more expansive space holder. So it's really exciting. Hope you come play with us inside of certification. It's only getting bigger, better, deeper. We'll see you guys in there.
Oh. Okay, so real quick, I'm Emmanuel, by the way. I know it says Team Garrain, but I'm the systems nerd behind all the things that we do with Artist Power. But I want to show y'all real quick. Garrain, is that cool if I show them a little bit of the platform?
Yes, systems guy.
Okay. So this is, yeah, the systems are it's a twofold thing, right? It's the inner game is usually a big component that's missing for coaches, and then once they get the inner game right, the external systems on the business side of things is usually one of the key things. So just want to touch on, I'm sure everyone's already gone into this platform. Whenever y'all signed up for this, we gave you all an invitation to come in. This is the Artist Power platform. So, you know, I'm once again systems nerd, so the tech person. But essentially, we created a platform that houses like where y'all get to live and play with us, and how we co-create together and impact people. But inside of Artist Power, this is also like we have, you know, a vault of different content from different creators, workshops from our guardians, workshops from Garrain. And for those of you that decide to play with us, not only do you get access, do you unlock access to hundreds of hours of powerful transformative content, but you also get daily live coaching. So Emily that y'all just saw or heard from, she's one of our coaches. We have it's 6 coaches, I think. Yeah, 6 coaches every single week. You're getting access to them to continue just to grow with us in this mission of just, you know, waking people up to their true power. And of course, like inside of the platform, we mentioned that there's access to the program. So for example, for those that decide to play with us in the certification program, claim your special 20% off offer. So this is where you're going to live and go through the content. And of course, there's community component behind it. But what happens after you do the inner work, right? So y'all do the inner work, and now it's time to, you know, build the systems that actually get you clients. So this is where Artist Power launch comes into play. So this is unlike any certification you'll see. Most certification programs, they'll teach you, but then whenever it's time to build the business, you're kind of on your own. So with Artist Power Launch, essentially we allow you to build your entire business within the Artist Power platform. That includes creating your sales pages for your offers. So if you have an idea, I want to do private coaching, I want to have a course, whatever it is, you just go through, answer basic questions. This is a non-techie platform that allows you to create all the pages that you need in order to sell your high ticket offers, your low ticket offers, whatever it is. On top of that, it builds, you take a quiz and it builds essentially like y'all are all inside of something like this right now. Like y'all signed up for something, you got some emails, you showed up to a training, and now there's an invitation to go deeper. This is called a webinar. This is a masterclass, a workshop, whatever you want to call it. But this requires technical people like me that are not cheap to build these things. Well, inside of Artist Power Launch, to build all these things out, you simply take a quiz and it builds out all your pages, writes your emails, automates everything for you. And then what happens, so this is just an example of what it can look like, but what happens after someone works with you, right? So of course, inside of, once y'all get certified inside of our platform here, you're going to be able to create content, but this is inside of our Artist Power umbrella. You probably want to be able to create your own communities, your own branded things. So obviously this says, of course, it says Artist Power, but in this case, imagine you having your own branded platform where your community can come in, where you can share content, where you can share courses, where you can share your coaching calendar, where you can create your courses and feel be able to deliver value to your clients while not needing to have an expensive team that builds all these things out for you. So I just wanted to show that because for most coaches, yes, the inner game is key. Boom, this is of course the number one thing, but then having the systems in place where you can grow the business is also very, very important. So that said, I am complete. Back to you, Garrain.
All right, cool. So what y'all just saw, there is no coaching platform on the planet that has access to that can support the launch with flyers and emails and all that. That's not a thing. We have the software. So just to let you know, you would pay somebody like $20,000 a month just to do that back end thing that Emmanuel had, not including the flyers, not including the emails. That's just to get the back end. So we have all of that built in for you guys. So I just want to thank you. I want to say thank you to each of you for tuning in. And I am so grateful. And I cannot wait to see all of you on the other side. Blessings, friend. Take care.
Well, see you guys later. Let me see. Team Artist Power, you need to you need to close the meeting.